welcome to Colombo. Match number 5 with Solid SC taking on St.Mary on the Sri Lanka Football Facebook page and the Sri Lanka Football YouTube channel in Sri Lanka and across multiple other platforms as well now. Also joining us on this endeavor, the Papare and Supreme TV, through whom you can also join this broadcast. And to kick things off for today, the two teams making their way onto the pitch. Nyana Ruben, the number 12 jersey bearing forward for Solid SC, leading them on, while Nidarshan leads on St. Mary's. And that is referee Rumi picking up the match ball. He's going to have a tense encounter on his hands, a lot of northern flair in both the teams that are taking on each other today, and a bit of expat magic on the cards as well, particularly representing Solid SC. So for the football loving fans joining us live, there's still time and still another entire match after this one if you want to make your way down to the Racecourse Stadium to join us live. It will be a beautiful Sunday experience, taking in some high-level football as the teams shake hands with their counterparts and the officials for one final hello before they start battling it out on the football pitch. The Anuradhapura lads taking apart Sri Lanka Transport Board, winning 6-0 in the first game from yesterday. And before that, Sri Lanka Police kicking off their Champions League, and Ruben Raj in defence in the middle of the park. Nidarshan, the skipper, up.
Now Northern affair, Solid hailing from Anuradhapura, St. Mary's from Jaffna. Navanture. Solid even having quite a few known faces from Jaffna, including their captain Nyana Ruben,
who
represented Sri Lanka as
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, kick off!
As St. Mary's kick things off, attacking from right to left on our screen. It'll be interesting how these two sides play out this 90. Some of them know each other inside out. Rather risky pass to start things off. And brilliant conditions here. Slightly overcast, as we had rain interruptions throughout Friday and Saturday.
And just as you were mentioning that risky pass, now for a lot of these players, they've not played a lot of football in recent times. So the Champions League coming back offers a great opportunity for them to get back on the horse, and a lot of encouragement coming with the Sri Lanka under-17 team's victory yesterday as well. Setting things up nicely. We've seen some young talent coming through and really making their mark on this tournament so far. In particular, yesterday, some prodigious young talent of the past and some prodigious young talent of the future. You saw Sundarraj Niresh really orchestrate the game for Saunders yesterday, and he has been in and around the national setup, both at youth and international level, for close to a decade. And the likes of Jacob Atkinson, former gateway striker, coming in and also making an impact on the game towards the latter part. So the future hopefully bodes well for Sri Lanka football as we move into this game. Nidarshan on the ball there. It's rather interesting to see initially, although the structure of the team that has been declared is one both teams look to be playing with a back four. The first offside of the game coming in. Yesterday's game started off, the second game at least, started off a little cagey. The first one was a bit of a goal fest, but it's interesting to see this first match day how these teams play out. Solid SC in particular love a physical battle, and they've got some expat players, the likes of Chibueze, Adeolu and Prince, all of whom are happy to take on a challenge, as Daniel Arubison looks to have taken a bit of a hit on that occasion. Solid SC with a few wayward passes since kickoff, really working on settling into the game, and to be fair and to the credit of St. Mary's, they've pressed very well and managed to now win a first corner for themselves. A valiant effort on the part of Prem Kumar down that left flank, and the ball coming off of Sadursan. So the first test now for Devadas Nilujan in goal. Taken short very quickly and hoiked up in the air. Ball in the back of the net, but adjudged to have gone out of bounds first. A bit of an awkward one there for Nilujan. I don't think that came across exactly the way the St. Mary's lads wanted it to come across. I think it was a bit rushed on that occasion as well, but the first minor test for the Solids goalkeeper, and once again giving the ball straight back, and once again in the middle of it is Prem Kumar, now in the middle of the park. So first 5 minutes of exchanges, Solid SC not really settling down.
As you rightly said, Deshan, the first 10-15, maybe 20 minutes would be crucial for both Solid and St. Mary's. The first team to settle down and maybe even score a goal would certainly have an advantage for the next 70 odd minutes. St. Mary's should have better chemistry. They are a team comprising of local players, all of them from Jaffna. They've been playing a lot of league games together. The two captains on either side, Nyanroob and Vinod, Mariadas Nidarshan, having both played for Sri Lanka as well as against each other when they were representing Nyanroob, and of course representing either Solid or St. Henry's, and Mariadas Nidarshan representing St. Mary's. So there would be no love lost between some of these players as Solid press high up the pitch, looking to force a mistake. That's what Police did against in their first game, forcing those mistakes.
And very quickly, now you can see what exactly tends to happen when you do press up that high, and it just takes really a second more than anything else for the game to switch around, and to St. Mary's credit, they did absolutely well in order to switch the play and bring it back to the solid half following that bout of press. And it's very clear that the advice that has been given to the solid SE players is to press high energy up the pitch and force a mistake and a turnover. And now the first period of sustained possession by solid SE. Here's an opportunity now down this flank to create something, but nothing doing. And once again that press really working well, and solid SE turnover possession in their favor, and they give it away cheaply once again, outnumbered, and St. Mary's happy to take their time. Madhivadanan, and looking for support on the ball, nicked off of Jason Meron, but referee giving the foul in St. Mary's favor. And now an opportunity down this flank once again, but dispossessed. And that has really been the biggest fault that Solid SC have shown in these first 10 minutes. They've given away possession rather cheaply every single time they've held it in midfield, which is a bit of a concern, particularly because when you do lose it in the middle of the park, you do open yourself up to an attack, and that cross just keeping practice for Devadas Nilujan. Now Daniela Rubison finding it in the middle of the park. Solid SC trying to spread it out. Given the ball away cheaply once again. A little bit of luck, but St. Mary's won't be complaining. The referee bringing the ball back to the middle of the park. It was a head injury possibility, and I believe that is why the referee did bring it back.
Yes, sir. Nyan Ruben, we know, getting hit on the head from close range.
Those can sting quite a bit when you get hit from an unexpected angle, and some words of advice from Henry Chibueze there. And as we conclude on the first 10 minutes of this game, Devadas Nilujan has had more to look for than his counterpart. And again, very poor defending by Solid SC, who give the ball away in a dangerous area. A bit of fortune that led to nothing, but now down this left flank, cross coming in, and again the end product from John Loyas not quite there. The ball to run into here, good touch, but no mistakes on the part of the man in goal, Arnikan. We've seen a number of playing styles over the course of this first Champions League game week as the rains start to pelt here at the Colombo Racecourse. And the conditions certainly have led to the teams having to adjust their playing styles a little bit to fit the bill. An opportunity now for St. Mary's. St. Mary's very nearly nicking that ball off of the solid defense. Prem Kumar, he has been all over the front of that front line. It has been a real threat. Very nearly taking the ball off of Robinson Reynolds there, but corner. Now for the men in blue. He whips it in. A good corner. Fantastic defense. More of a shot than a cross on that occasion, Navod, but alert to the danger.
Here's Shanaka Prabodh. Adualu. His cross headed out. Solid still have position. Shanaka Prabodh. Here's Prince. Daniel Arubishan. Arubishan playing as a left back this time around. He used to play as a centre back or in midfield.
That does tend to be one of the bigger issues, I think, that has led to a bit of inconsistency for the Sri Lanka national team as well, Navod. I think circumstances potentially dictate in Sri Lanka's club football scene that, you know, there's plenty of occasions where you see a man playing out of position to fit the team, and what that does is that it doesn't really let him grow in a certain position. But here's an opportunity now for Solid Desi, nicked off his feet. The referee calls for an offside, but...
And the other thing is, Deshan, you don't rightly address the question, isn't it? When you try to plug things along, you are just covering that question that needs to be answered, and answered quickly in most occasions. If not, it gets dragged along, and the question becomes a bigger problem.
Absolutely, and I think that's evidenced by the fact that the national team only has one man growing up within Sri Lanka's homegrown football pyramid. Most of the others have grown in foreign academies and in environments overseas where it's very specific education for a certain role. Of course, you can play on the left wing, the right wing, and maybe as a second striker. You can potentially also do the same when it comes to playing in the middle of the park, but the one man who has specialized in that area, Sujan Pereira, continues to hold forth, and it is something that needs a bit of addressing over the next few years. But in the meantime, Mensa Prince has been that dominant figure towards the front of the park, tries to nick it off the St.Mary's player and concedes a foul. Nidarshan as a result now with a free kick.
Here's the free kick. Deflected header goes out. It'll be a goal kick.
Once again having a look at that one, Nidarshan. Not a very convincing cross, but Mensa Prince unable to find that one, hoists it forward. Nidarshan once again. Happy to take his time here. Arnikan in goal, and
Looking at the two lineups, there's a lot of experience in the solid midfield, the likes of Nyan Ruben Vinod and Shanaka Prabodh. Not much known faces in the St. Mary's lineup other than Mariadas Nidarshan, who has played all his football as a midfielder, but now playing as a centre back. And I think as the game goes along, the match would likely be decided from that midfield battle. The team that comes out on top in that midfield battle would go a long way in securing that 3 points.
Navod, I can't help but realize the structural differences that you can see between Sri Lanka's national team and the way they tend to play their football versus a lot of the local clubs. Coach Al Mutairi in particular loves to have the ball on the ground. 1, 2, 3, 4 quick passes in the middle of the pitch and then releasing the wingers up front, which is a departure from what we call long ball football. And here you can still see the traditional Sri Lankan coaching setup of, when in doubt, get it out. Rather hopeful arm lifted in search of a penalty, but the referee was never going to give that one.
Let's hope, Deshan, that the 14 teams would grow as the weeks go by in the Champions League. Mind you, they are starting football after a very long time in competitive football. Yes, they might have been playing club or league football, but again, consistency is what matters, and through consistency, hopefully they'll learn and grow into the structure and the playing style that the Sri Lanka national team, the national setup, would require. Around 20 minutes gone in this game. Still 0-0 here at the Racecourse International Stadium. Solid taking on St.Mary's. Joining in just now on Supreme TV or on the Papare. This is the third and final day of week 1 of Champions League football organized by Sri Lanka Football for the year 2025. We've already had 4 games. And tonight will be the opening ceremony for the Champions League, with the 8 p.m. kickoff being New Star and Nigamba Youth.
And an opportunity now for St.Mary Sports Club, and taken off the foot of the St. Mary's attacker by Devadas Nilujan, who was alert to the danger. And as we've concluded the 20 minutes of this game, a beautiful pass here, just a bit too much on it. Nilujan making no mistake again, and well covered there by Daniel and Rubison as well, but a bit of skill to get past the defender. On the left flank for Solid SC, and Mensa Prince gets past one man, gets past another, passes it out, ball held up, and now trying to make something happen. Henry Chibueze just falling short there. Now about 22 minutes in. It's been a cagey encounter, and despite both teams trying to settle down, you've seen a very clear lack of quality, particularly in that final phase. That has cost both the teams. It's kept things very comfortable for the goalkeepers.
Rightly pointed out, Deshan. Both sets of forwards aren't making those runs into spaces. They're just waiting for the ball to come to their feet. Good interception. They need quick ball, solid. Jan Ruben, we know, being hustled. Good work done by the defender. Delayed that attack. And allowed the St.Mary's to recover. Here's Jan Ruben again. Sadis. Back to Tevadas Nilujan.
I think Solid SC coming into this game as favourites, and here's an opportunity for the goalkeeper. Not a convincing clearance, but gets there first, and now Chibueze with that opportunity. Shanaka Prabodh in the middle of the park there as well. Good turn and a shot, but always rising, not going to trouble the keeper. Just having another look at that fantastic piece of skill by Adeolu. And again, we were talking about a lack of quality from both sides, and Adeolu only managed to get the chance because of a less than convincing clearance attempt by the keeper. Just a bit of a shove there. The Mensa Prince. Here is now an opportunity. Ball hoiked in. Fantastic defense there. Winning the foul as well, but closed down by both Henry Chibueze and Kennedy John Raj. A goal-saving tackle by Midunsan in that number 4 shirt.
I think Henry Chibueze should have done better on that occasion. Both those chances created by Adelakun Adeolu. The span of a minute or so. He seems to be someone who has the potential to open up the defense of St. Mary's. Prince, Jan Ruben, Shanaka Prabodh to Arabisan.
It's always interesting now as these teams vie to really get into the top tier of Sri Lanka's football pyramid. I think from an objective viewpoint, if you look at Sri Lanka's football structure at the moment, you have these teams that will break into the top tier, and you have the top tier teams that house the premier talents in Sri Lanka's football scene. But if you were to look at how many of those players are seriously in consideration for a national team starting spot, there's a massive gulf in quality, and of course that quality is being bridged. Sujan Pereira playing his football overseas, recently Kavish Fernando now signing with a new Radiant in the Maldives as well. So corner kick on this occasion for Solid SC after a good tackle by the man in the number 24 shirt, Ruben Raj. But what I'm trying to say is there is a gulf in quality between the feeders and the national team. What kind of adjustment would you need to see in the football pyramid here in Sri Lanka to feed the national team better with locally developed talent? Or would you need to say more players taking Kavish Fernando's and Sujan Pereira's route and going overseas instead?
I think, Deshan, it should be a mix of both. I think from a player's perspective, they need to have that discipline from the administration as well as the clubs. They need to set up a proper foundation, not just wait until monetary funds come from somewhere else. They need to properly structure their clubs, the league structure as well. And from a player's perspective, they need to have the discipline to have a certain goal, have the discipline to train, look after their bodies, as well as have their discipline not just on the field but off the field as well, because some of these players just think it's only a matter of playing on the field what needs to be addressed. No, it's not. It's something you need to address it off the field as well, especially off the field, because on the field it's just 90 minutes. Off the field is what matters. To have that discipline, and I think there are quite a lot of talent in Sri Lanka football who can go and play in the South Asian circuit. But what's lacking from players' end is that discipline and the consistency. Let's hope that with the foundation that Sri Lanka has laid and how Sri Lanka football, especially the national team, has been performing, it encourages these youngsters while seeing these professionals playing in the overseas leagues, in the A-League, the Australian League, in the German leagues, in the French leagues, seeing that professionalism and how they conduct themselves on and off the pitch, entice them, encourage them to have a certain target. That, okay, this is how a professional football, as even a semi-professional footballer should work. As the ball from Jan Ruben trying to find Shanaka Prabodh on that wing goes out. Instructions from Sivanesan, head coach for Solid.
Fortunately, it has been rather uninspiring stuff here from the racecourse grounds. Both teams failing to really open up the defense of the other side, but here is an opportunity now down this left flank. Looking for that breakthrough is Prem Kumar. Prem Kumar manages to lift the ball in, and an opportunity. Unable to make contact on that occasion, but Prem Kumar again, he's been the only player on the pitch that has been a consistent threat from either side. And now Solid SC looking to do something on the break, but the ball getting nicked off of Adela Kunadeolu. Prem Kumar again, that turn of pace and the ball coming in. That's more like it, and that directness is very important if you want to break the deadlock. But just a bit unlucky in terms of getting the right kind of purchase on it.
Prem Kumar has been the best player on the park in this 32 odd minutes. As Adeluku. Ruben, a weak attempt. Away from the goal.
Not the best attempt from Jana Ruben, and trying to cultivate something there, the skipper, for Solid SC, but not really quite able to get there. Yesterday also, what we saw in the second game, Crystal Palace scoring against the run of play despite not being the better team for most of the time leading up to that goal, and that is the name of the game. It really just takes one kick going the right direction in order to completely change the way this game is being played out.
Indeed, yesterday we had totally two different games. The first one a goal fest, at least in the first half, with SLTB playing a rather good second half. Maybe could have scored a couple more. And the next one, Crystal Palace against Saunders, a very tense affair. It needed a late goal, a late penalty, 90 plus 8th minute for Saunders to secure that 3 points. And adding to the topic that we were talking, Deshan, I think with the origin players coming in, there has been a new wave of fans that has come around Sri Lanka football. Sri Lanka football has been talked about in the world as well. And I think for the youngsters who are coming up, they are seeing good role models, and even for the players based in Sri Lanka, they get to see some of these players and how they conduct themselves and learn from them. That's the most important part.
Absolutely, the environments in which the likes of Claudio Camanek play their football in the second division of Germany, extremely high level stuff with the right kind of recovery, the right kind of training, the right kind of nutrition and everything in between. And as Navod was saying, it certainly does take an army, and if not an army of resources at the very least, to really help make these players truly international standard players. And a lot of it comes from the fact that the margins at the highest level are very, very thin. You look at what is much spoken about concept following the takeover of Manchester United in recent times, which is marginal gains, and how you can do little things to gain little advantages that kind of aggregate and build up over time. And I think everyone can stop a ball, everyone can pass a ball, but how much of a tight space can you stop a ball in? How well can you pass a ball into space? And I think these are the things that make the difference.
Exactly. And the decline throughout 5 years or a decade cannot be recovered in just a season or so. And that's where a good solid foundation is important.
That's exactly what Sri Lanka football is trying to achieve by reinvigorating the Champions League and really pushing up the second division here in Sri Lanka, and trying to get it the right eyes and the ears, and to get spectator and fan engagement to up the ante. Playing these games in the heart of Colombo, as very nearly there. ST.Mary is with that opportunity. And here, Solid SC on the counter. But again, as has been the story of the last 37 minutes, just not quite there.
Sri Lanka football on the correct path. Football Sri Lanka, headed by the president Jasra Umar, having this tournament in a centralized location in one of the best pitches, if not the best pitch that you can play football here at the Racecourse International Stadium, allowing the fans to see 2 games each on Friday, Saturday and Sunday. Here's Darshan, closed down by Chibuezi.
A bit of a misunderstanding there. Prem Kumar takes it off his chest and tries to guide it into the path of his teammate, but ended up chasing it himself. Daniel Rubison making the run all the way from the left side of the pitch to take no chances. And now Mensah looking for that through pass, but nothing doing yet again. Adeolu trying to get involved. St.Mary is now with an opposite beautiful pass coming through, a bit of luck as well. Prem Kumar turns, twists, and he loses possession, gives it away very cheaply. And one more bite at the cherry potentially. Maresan, and doesn't take away the shot either. And Solid SC getting away with one there. Leaving their shooting boots at home, the St. Mary's attackers. They should be testing the keeper at the very least on situations such as that, but here's an opportunity. They've got the Solid SC defense on the back foot. Cross coming in. Well done to get past the man. And Daniel Rubison making no chances.
There looks to be some activity in the St. Mary's bench. They are readying a substitution. Just 5 minutes to go till half time.
Always a weird one, first half substitutions, and it will be interesting to see what duration. They've got plenty of venom in those boots, the likes of Mensah himself and Adeolu, but it remains to be seen whether this will be a shot on goal or a cross.
Someone Solid would dearly miss would be Edison Figueroa, especially in these dead ball situations.
Looks like Mensah himself, after winning that free kick, is going to be taking the shot.
Looks like he'll go direct. Thumping effort. Low ball deflected out for corner.
Skipper Nidarshan getting in the way of that shot. And an opportunity now as the half slowly draws to a close to put in a dangerous cross for Solid SC. They've definitely got the height and strength advantage. The cross comes in to the far post, and once again not a cross that meets the quality demanded of this level, straight at the keeper. Prem Kumar gets the ball back, looks for some support and loses possession very cheaply on this occasion. Solid SC back on the attack, beautifully chested for Mensah. Mensah pushes it back out wide. Kennedy John Raj tries to twist and turn and loses possession once again. Referee off your screen looks like he's going to be receiving indications of 2 minutes of added time from fourth official Chamal Karidmal. Yes, it is. It's 2 minutes. Once again, trying to turn over possession very nearly. I think that's Adeolu there who managed to win that free kick, taking their time. Solid SC, and now as we draw into the half-time interval, what are your takeaways from what has been a less than inspiring first half here at the Racecourse Stadium?
Yes, Deshan, I think apart from the lack of activity in that attack in third, both teams have tussled valiantly in that midfield, trying to come out on top. But again, as we've pointed out in this first 45 minutes, the action or the lack of action in that attack in third, the penetration has been lacking from both teams. Less than convincing. And if it goes like this for the next 45, it will be a very tame, goalless draw, as Adeolu tries to break away. Shanaka Prabodh finds Chibuezi, who sends that ball out.
And that's the half-time interval here at the Racecourse Stadium in what has been a lackluster first half from the first game this Sunday. Both teams starting off rather cagey and not really able to win that midfield battle. There's not been much action in that final third. But the name to remember from the proceedings of the first half, although not the better of the two teams, has been Prem Kumar, who has been a third in Solid's side. Solid SC have been the better team, but despite their performance, have not created. The story of the day so far has been half-baked finished products, and Mary's did get the ball in the back of the net, but waved as the ball had gone out of bounds soon enough. Neither of the keepers really challenged too much. Number of speculative efforts coming from both sides, in particular Solid SC using that midfield to try and put a shot in. But it remains to be seen who will put up their hands, stand up. Hello and welcome back to the Colombo Racecourse International Stadium for the 5th match of the Champions League here in Colombo, Sri Lanka. We have seen a first half of action between St.Mary's SC from Jaffna and Solid SC, and just as the half has turned, a substitution with Abhishek, the midfielder, being replaced by Abhinesh, a forward for St. Mary's. So definitely the onus now from the lads from Jaffna to try and take away the points from the Anuradhapura rivals. The first half of the game rather lackluster here in Colombo. Neither of the sides really putting their foot down and taking the game by the scruff of the neck. And that's just a confirmation of the substitution for you once again. But
Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome back to
arguably
the
being the
pitch,
better
Solid and
of
St. Mary's.
the two teams.
Just
Just failed
substitution for
to
St.
turn
Mary's.
the game
Jersey
on its
number
head. Prem
9,
Kumar
S. Abhishek will be
has
replaced
been
by
the best
jersey
player
number
on the
14,
pitch
P.
and has
Abhinesh.
been all over the place. But again, that finishing product not quite there. And kick off with Solid in the wide strip, playing from the right to the left on your screens, while St. Mary's will be playing left to right in that blue strip. Goal kick is the call from St. Mary's, but nothing doing. The corner has been awarded. No, it's been changed up yet again. I think the linesman has indeed declared that it will be a goal kick, much to the dismay of Nyana Ruben. And the number 11 shirt there for Solid SC, Adelekun Adeolu. Nidarshan, the skipper, with an all-important intervention in that first half, keeping things 0-0. It's been a rock at the back, and despite usually plying his trade as a midfielder, has been sitting in the heart of that defense for this game in particular, and has got bags of experience. Here's an opportunity early doors for St. Mary's, trying to get the ball in the box, but no chances being taken. Robinson Reynolds does very well to get the ball away from the attacker and also to make sure that no corner is conceded. Solid tackle there from Nidarshan. Yet again, the skipper taking the ball away from Adeolu, giving him no chance. He's been marshalling his defense fantastically well, and he's just left his man and taken over the duties of marking Chibueze. And a wasted effort on that occasion from Daniel Arubison. Stacked with a number of expat players, Solid SC in their white shirt, but not quite able to really grab this game by the scruff of the neck. That hard-fought midfield battle really not giving either team too much freedom to dominate the game as they would like. Coming out all the way here, the Solid SC keeper very nearly caught on the ball in a dangerous area. those of you just joining us, this is Sri Lanka's Champions League football tournament, the second division of Sri Lanka's football pyramid. These teams plying their trade here to qualify to compete at the highest level. Here's a shot. Fantastic play there by Adeolu, getting the shot away, but again, beautiful defense. Madhivadanan not giving an ounce of space and blocking what would undoubtedly have been a shot heading straight towards that far post. Here's another look at that. Adeolu. The corner coming in. Corner comes in. Here's an opportunity spilled by the keeper, but he quickly gathers it himself on that occasion. Arnigan, key player for the Jaffna side. St.Mary is now on the attack. Nice little high pass, not quite well judged by the solid defense. Once again, space inside the box. And the shot comes in, and it very nearly sneaks in at the far post. Coach Ratnam Jasmine seems delighted with some of that play. Sebastian Rule holding the ball up, sending the shot in, but just failing to get it on target. We're seeing a bit more venom in the early exchanges here in this half. Once again, Navod Vijay Vikrama joins me in the commentary box. St. Mary's opens the door once again. Here's an opportunity. An interesting problem to have, but Daniel Arubison does fantastically well to get between Sebastian Arul and the ball. Absolutely clean stuff there. Fantastically well done by Rubison to stop that attack from proceeding any further. And this, more of what we'd like to see, both teams taking that attacking initiative and really pushing through now to get that first goal, Navod. Speculative effort from long distance. Nidarshan dropping all the way back, and a less than convincing clearance on that occasion from Arnigan in the goal. Will pass yet again from the middle of the park, but now this half has burst into life a little bit, and both teams taking it upon themselves to be on the front foot when it comes to attack.
It tends to happen, doesn't it, Deshan? We've seen a lot of these games, local and international. The first half have been dismal, but come the second half, becomes one of the most entertaining 45 minutes you've ever watched. The same thing goes to the first 45 as well, when you have a lot of goals and it's entertaining, but the second half, not so much. We just saw that yesterday as well, where Serendip scored 6 goals in the first half, and neither Serendip nor SLTB scored any goals, though there were a few chances in that second half. St. Mary's almost getting past Tevdas Nilujan. Sense of urgency from the get-go in this second half. Both teams definitely would have had a stern word from Ratnam Jasmine and Sabana Savanasan, two head coaches of St. Mary's and Solid respectively.
Once again now Solid SC trying to push from up the middle of their park. Shanaka Prabodh trying to unleash Adeolu. And Chibueze manages to pick up the ball. Chibueze drives into the box, but absolutely no support again for him, and he's flailing his arms because Kennedy John Raj didn't make the run into the box. Chibueze does all the hard work and puts in a beautiful ball just outside the 6-yard box. Not very pleased with the efforts of his teammates, and then at the same time Nidarshan barking orders because an opportunity there for Solid SC to try and carve something out that wasn't really defended very well. And a poor corner from Solid SC, which is a departure from a lot of the work we saw in yesterday's games. Navod, the one game obviously high scoring, the other not so much, but the quality of the delivery in particular from set pieces was at a considerable level. But this game, I don't think we've seen a single effective corner since kickoff.
Solid looking to build up from the back. Advishan down on this left wing. Chips it over straight to the St. Mary's man.
Mensah there, just acknowledging his foul. Good turn here on the far side. Ball coming in. And Solid SC does well to get it. Ball turned over. Here's an opportunity with the shot. And it skies over the bar. Substitute Abhinesh with his first clear-cut opportunity of the game so far. Does everything right, but leans back a little bit too much as he gets his shot away. Mensah to take this free kick. Another corner now for Solid SC. About to be whipped in from this left-hand side. Better corner than the previous one, but still the service not quite there. The ball not really getting enough whip and venom in it when swung towards the center of the box, but floated in. putting the attackers in a difficult position. It's very hard to generate the right amount of power and the right amount of pace when the ball comes in from the corner without much pace on it itself and without much speed on it itself. That has been the story of the game so far.
I think Deshan, whatever said and done, there shouldn't be any excuses for the lack of precision and lack of consistency in terms of dead ball situations, from corner kicks, from free kicks, because those are the things, especially like we've been taught from our younger days as well. General play, yes, there can be ups and downs. You might be having a good day or bad day in midfield. But when it comes to dead ball situations, the free kicks and the corner kicks, you need to have those up at least at above 75%. Those deliveries are important. That's where you need to attack, and those are the direct attacking opportunities you get, and you need to take advantage of it.
Prem Kumar standing over this one. Sends the ball into the box. Not fully successful in getting that clearance across, but it's another corner from the other side now, and Robinson Reynolds taking no chances and getting the ball out. Cross coming in here for St.Mary's. And again, a wasteful corner. Just can't be doing that at this level. You've got to be able to, at the very least, get your corner kick across to the right space. But a wasteful effort once again, which, as I said earlier, has been the story of this game from kickoff.
Ball right through the defense. Not much communication between the solid back two and the goalkeeper. Devdas Nilujan. Players I see that could make a difference for either team would be Prem Kumar from St. Mary's and Adelukun Adeolu from Solid. Both Adeolu and Prem Kumar have shown moments of brilliance in that first half.
The speculative pass there, finding feet, an opportunity for Solid SC. Here's a chance, Chibueze! Very nearly finding that top corner, but nothing doing. Arnigan meets it fantastically well. And the first clear-cut chance of the second half. Beautiful pass there by Adeolu, and Chibueze had it all to do now both, but he does fantastically well to first get the ball past the man and then wiggle into space. And another corner coming off of the first goal kick, rather, by the looks of it. Yes, it is a goal kick, so not effectively taken that corner once again. Here's another look at that. Adeolu with the pass on the outside of his foot. Chibueze, one man, two man beaten, and then shoots. We have seen bursts in this game that was the chance of the match so far. Very nearly a wayward pass. As we roll into the 66th minute of this game, Solid SC seem to be holding all the trumps. St.Mary is now struggling to get back into it. Here is an opportunity now to put a cross into the box, and once again wasteful.
Yes.
Now that's not the first time we've really seen Chibueze trying to drive down this left flank. He manages to get a ball into the box. I think it's the third or fourth time in this game that he's not really had a single white shirt doing that crash into the box, or giving him a target. And once again he was flailing his arms out of frustration, and I think that seems like a reasonable reaction considering how many times he's tried to make that work and not really seeing any support.
As we see Solid now on the right, puts it across. Off the 6-yard box.
Catching practice once again for the keeper. No quality on that cross whatsoever. Abhinesh now trying to create something down the middle, and St. Mary's immediately lose the ball once again. A bit of hands being thrown about there by Madhivadanan. The foul being won by Sadhushan as a result. A beautiful pass there coming from Daniela Rubison. A thumbs up as well from Henry Chibueze, but again amounts to nothing. Chibueze again driving. Here's an opportunity. Sorry, that was Adeolu, but again that combination up front seems to be driving the attack for Solid SC. As you can see, around the 70th minute mark, the fatigue slowly creeping in Navod, and the players, those touches just a bit heavier. and those runs just a bit more full of longing. Tends to be the case. It's an extremely humid evening despite the temperature not being very high, and does take its toll. You can slowly see the pitch also here at the racecourse, although it is the best pitch among football stadiums in Sri Lanka. It does have a tendency to get very heavy and muddy under the pelting of the rain, and in particular last week we had an international fixture here, and this is the 5th match here in the last 2 days. It does really make the turf rather uneven as well, and that does affect how these players play. You need to put a bit more energy to make those sprints, to make those jogs. But from a neutral perspective, what that means is, statistically at least, you're likely to see a few more mistakes, and potentially the game being opened up as a result.
The racecourse grounds, naturally a very soft ground. So as you correctly pointed out, Deshan, with all the fixtures and the rain that has happened during the last 5-6 days, ground gets heavy rather quickly. The players should definitely be concerned, especially with those back passes. Solid once again on the right, puts in a cross just over Chibueze. Good work done on that occasion. Good run from Chibueze. As we see St.Mary's player down. Looks to be down with cramps. Yes, Madhivadanan is the man. Nilujan sent off your screen. Jude Suman, younger brother of Nyan Ruben Vinod. Just over 15 minutes left in this game. Still solid nil. St. Mary's nil.
And considering the other fixtures that have been played across this game week, Navod, I think you do see highly competitive 0-0 games as well, but unfortunately this has been the lowest quality game in terms of the quality of football so far in this game week. Neither of the teams really showing any finish, but that can change, and hopefully it does from a neutral perspective. And once again, ball finding its way out of bounds, and It really has been the story of the game.
Because good intentions from St. Mary's, but Prem Kumar's ball into the box, a bit too heavy. As Solid now makes a substitution. It's A. Alexson who comes on to replace Kennedy John Raj.
John Raj, he's had his moments, but off that front line for Solid SC, John Raj has been rather wanting, but it is an interesting situation given that John Raj is more of a forward, Alexson more of a midfielder. Remains to be seen what the idea behind that move is.
Substitution for Solid. Jersey number 7, Kennedy John Raj, will be replaced by jersey number 5, A. Alexson.
Always interesting to see the transfer stories that happen along the lines of the Champions League Navod, and a mainstay in Sri Lanka's national team, Mohammad Fazal, also changing ranks in recent days in the run-up to this tournament. It's going to be sporting a new strip this year.
Yes, indeed, Fazal having retired from national duty. And the switch to his local club, New Star, Panadura-based club. This hopeful long ball collected by Nilujan. We haven't seen any goals in this game. Have we had any yellow cards, Deshan?
No, I think this has been a game that has been rather easy on referee Rumi's pocket. Maybe a yellow card will liven things up a little bit now, potentially. Once again, cheap giveaway of possession, but Solid SC can recycle. Speculative effort, but never going to trouble the man in goal for St. Mary's. Foul there. The referee is still determining that it's not really worthy of a yellow card. And on the lazy one on that occasion on the part of Midunsan. Beautiful turn there by Adelakun Adeolu. I think you could see that he felt the defender on his back and really took advantage of the pressure from the defender to win a free kick in what is now a dangerous area as we slowly approach the final 10 minutes of normal time.
Chibuezi with his second opportunity to go direct at goal. The first one in the first half got a deflection and went out for a corner. His keeper Jan Ruben Vinod having a chat with him. Long one rather, as Adiluku Nadiolu joins him. Looks like St. Mary's are in need of a substitution. Jesunesan Meron is hobbling out, one of the marquee players, the under 21 players St. Mary's has.
Opportunity now for Mensah to put the ball into the box, and he takes a speculative effort. I don't think that was going in, but Arnikan not taking any chances and happy to watch that go out for a corner kick. Takes a bit of a deflection off the wall anyway, and better safe than sorry on the part of the goalkeeper. Looking at a double substitution on the bench here for St. Mary's as we wait for this corner. Mensah swings it in. Once again a wasted corner straight at the St. Mary's defender. The ball turning over once and twice. St. Mary's now with an opportunity to hike the ball forward, but numbers available for Solid SC. Prem Kumar takes his time to turn. St. Mary's now look at the ball wide and working it back. Solid SC taking no chances. And looking for that pass that threads the needle really, but nothing doing. And once again that attack coming to nothing for both the sides. A roll of the dice on the cards from Ratnam Jasmine, trying to make some changes, inject some fresh legs.
St. Mary's playing with 10. Now they can make the substitution. It's J. Tilakanathan replacing jersey number 19 Sebastiarul, while A.S. Jerushan will replace Jesunesan Meron.
Substitution for St. Mary's. Jersey number 19, Sebasti Arul will be replaced by jersey number 20, J. Talaikanthan. And jersey number 17, Jesunesan Meron, will be replaced by jersey number 30, A.S. Jerushan.
St. Mary's. The ball towards the edge of the box. Indecision between the defense and the goalkeeper. Solid gets a free kick in their favor, but once again, miscommunication and the indecision. Here's Chibuezi, hounded by 2. Trying to find Jan Ruben Vinod up front. St. Mary's cleared away. Chibuezi cuts back in. Here's Adelu. Cross in, header by Chibuezi. Doesn't have any power behind it. And Shanaka Prabhu. Real miscommunication and lack of football knowledge on that occasion from the St. Mary's defender, allowing Adeolu get that ball. You can see on that occasion if he can go a bit back on it. That was the best opportunity Solid had. Adeolu. Brilliant ball to the edge of the 6-yard box. And Chibuezi, how did he miss that? For a moment I was a little too stunned to just describe what was happening.
Absolute waste of an opportunity there. It all started with a cardinal error, showing a lack of football intelligence on part of the St. Mary's defender, who seems to have a bout of cramp that he's received for his troubles as well, but very nearly costing his team there, Navod. And
I think even Adeolu had the opportunity to come a bit forward as well and maybe take a shot himself.
Potentially, yes, but I think he made the selfless decision. And given the efforts of Adeolu, Henry Chibueze just had to get strong enough of a touch on it.
Definitely. And Chibueze definitely should have done better on that occasion. St. Mary's looking to make another substitution.
A little more than 1.5 minutes of normal time to make sure this is not the first goalless encounter in this game week. Prem Kumar trying to break now. No options, no numbers to support him. And he's trying to do it all alone and gives the ball away. Solid SC now with an opportunity, looking to break. And yes, they can. He managed to get a yard of pace. Once again gives the ball away, unfortunately, for the men in white.
It's K. Biron replacing S. Ruben Raj in the 89th minute.
Tilaikantan there in that foot race, showing that he, as a substitute, does have a bit more energy than a lot of these players who played on this pitch. And an opportunity now for Solid SC, and last-ditch tackle, getting the ball away. Had he been beaten, that would be that. A clear-cut opportunity on goal, and once again has really been Chibueze, the story of Chibueze's evening. He is very, very frustrated. He's really not got the support that he was looking forward for throughout this game. Three minutes of added time being declared by the fourth official, Chamal Karidmal. And another injury on the cards. John Lawyers, the forward, making his way off the pitch. Ball coming in, and another corner now for Solid SC. And now the sense of urgency. Is it too late? An opportunity to put a shot in. Close down very quickly. And the ball comes in. Hopeful. And here's a chance. Goalkeeper makes no mistake. And a beautiful tackle there. That seems like the last opportunity Solid SC will have in this game. One more at best, I would reckon. St.Mary is now on the break. Nice little Hoik pass. One man in the middle. 20 seconds left in the game. Looking for that foul. And now Solid SC with the ball. And that seems to be that as we roll into the last 10 seconds of the game. Clearly in pain, Daniel Arubison. The referee says, no, nothing doing, get up. And that's the end of the second minute of added time. And they really need to get a move on. One final attack potentially. Ball given away by St. Mary's, and at high boot. Booking finally on the cards. I don't think that was intentional one bit. But despite how intentional that may be or not, Henry Chibueze's effort catching skipper Nidarshan there. Chibueze with an apologetic hand. Navod, who would you say is your man of the match for the game? I think for the spoils that he has been pulling off over the course of the last half in particular. I think the Anikan, the goalkeeper for St. Mary's, should deserve that title. There's been very little inspiring work coming from the rest of the pitch.
This indeed the biggest opportunity that St. Mary's had with the last kick of the game. What a finish it would have been. Ratnam Jasmine, rightly so disappointed.
Ladies and gentlemen, the
Brilliant
score
the
at
ball
full time is
from Maryadas Nidarshan. And exactly what we were talking about, wasn't it?
And that effort early doors. St. Mary's were knocking on the door, but Solid SC slowly grew into the game, and very nearly both teams with clear-cut opportunities to score towards the end of the game. Solid, they see one or two chances that many would argue should have been finished. This in particular, beautiful effort there by Henry Chibueze. But the man of the match, Arnikan, really standing up and being countered when necessary. He stood between a solid win and the 3 points. Held back as a result of his brilliance between the sticks, but the goalkeeper, being man of the match, should tell you about the nature of the game over the course of today. And in particular, very nearly the last kick of the game also leading to a goal. This was a fantastic opportunity as well. Chibueze again, that header from 6 yards out, flashing wide after absolutely misreading the game by the St. Mary's defender.
Coach, the first game of kick of the game as well.
Yeah, actually, we did not pick the foreign players, but our attackers are good. So we have to correct some things, and then next match we are trying to correct, and then we will do successful finishing.
Okay, thank you and all the best for the next games. Jan Ruben, playing against St. Mary's, you know these players all along. The first game of the Champions League, are you happy with how Solid played in this first game?
Yeah, okay. We are happy because we are prepared very short period, the last 2-3 days for the first game. Some foreign players also yesterday came, so that's why these results we are okay. I am happy. Also, last season we are playing St. Mary's. Today we are playing against St. Mary's. But everyone know about our game pattern and local players. But we are choosing some local talent, new players from northern parts. That's why we are trying our best today. But if we practice and prepare well next match, we will move good one.
Okay, and what do you think that needs to improve from Solid for the next few games?
Yeah, because this Champions League's confirming very short week. I think short week. That's why we are last 2-3 months not play any practice game or competition game. A lot of players, but this week we are not expecting this much draw or win something. But we are getting 1 point, no loss. This is we are happy, and also we have a lot of local potential in under 19 and 23 players also. We have to improve, and next week also we are move next good one.
Thank you and all the best for the next few games, Jan Ruben.